Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Have you seen the price of Bitcoin?
No, I stopped looking at it like 6 months ago. Why? What's that?
17,000.
Wow.
Yeah, from just a couple of days. So I don't think I'm looking for any more upside potential. Because
Yeah, it's hurting for.
the market typically will follow, they stay in sync with one another. And if Bitcoin lost that much in a couple of days, market's going to sell off hard. It might be just holding on for tomorrow.
See what happens. I mean, FTX bought one of the major exchanges. No, it went the other way around. Binance bought FTX, and there's a lot of shaking going on over in crypto.
Man, I just saw that this morning. I was like, are you kidding me? I said, no way. I went and looked, and sure enough, ouchie, ouchie. A couple of people were
Yeah.
saying last week they were buying it at 21,000, adding, and I was like, when I saw that this morning, I was like, oops, bad idea.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I kind of, pared down my crypto. I still have some, obviously, but, you know.
I got a bunch of crypto. I still believe it's the future. I mean, our dollar's backed by nothing. It's garbage. You got Russia, China, and all them trying to come up with a way to devalue our money, right? They want to start paying, they want their money to become like the dollar. I mean, it's just a matter of time before this everything collapses around us.
Much.
It's not that far off.
No.
I just shorted that there. Oh, I didn't get filled. Oh well.
Oh, my screens are just totally screwed up today, but I still can do what needs to be done.
Yeah, I got that video all uploaded yesterday. It's on YouTube. I just didn't share it to Discord yet. It was really fuzzy looking again. I'm like, you just can't make
Which
this stuff
one?
up. Day 7, I redid it because you showed me that the screen was so small.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I stopped the 4K on it and just uploaded it regular. I don't know what would have caused that. Something happening between the three of
Unless,
them and then the filmmaker editor thing.
yeah, unless it was my internet.
No, because I went back and watched it and did the same thing on the replay.
Oh,
Because
okay.
YouTube says, like, it gives you a standard definition that's available,
Right.
and it tells you, the full version will be available after it's completed processing. So I thought, maybe that's what it was, but I shut my window down before that got done, so maybe that stopped it.
Well, it did me a favor because it made me go to bed.
Oh man.
So we're just like in a definite downward trend. There's no two ways about this, right?
Yeah, like now that I saw Bitcoin like that, I'm kind of questioning, is the market going to make it today into tomorrow, or is it just going to collapse? I mean, if you look at the trend from let's go to the 1 hour. But you notice this channel, we broke it today, right? We were coming up from Monday, Tuesday, or Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Today we broke that uptrend. So I don't think, I don't know. I'm telling you, like, this is one of the toughest times to try and predict this because of what's on deck tomorrow, and now with Bitcoin, like, woof. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do, and then if the number comes out better than expected, which I think would be complete cover up, I don't see how that's possible, but are they gonna bring the market up, or is it just gonna sell off regardless of whether it's good or bad? They might try and do that pop up if it's good and then continue the sell off, but I don't know. It's tough to try and make a decision. I mean, right now I would have to go with the fact that we broke that channel to the upside, So I would be looking for that downward movement because you want to go with what But just with that news tomorrow, it's like, but now that I saw Bitcoin, I'm even further interested in shorting the market, you know. but we came right out of this range from overnight. We broke the range, and now we're using this area like kind of resistance now. And we broke this channel here. We broke it here. So it's kind of like, I don't want to fight the trend. I have to go with what I see, and what I see is going down. I mean, now we do have this gap above us. This is yesterday's close. So, I just don't know. I don't want to call it today. I mean, with tomorrow and Bitcoin, do we sell off today, and then with that news tomorrow, we get that initial pop up to fill that gap, and then sell off? Very likely. But I don't know. It's one of those days where it's just nothing is really making sense anymore. I mean, the market hasn't made much sense at all, but breaking that channel, now we just got to wait and see. Is it just going to be that false breakout, and then we continue higher, or what?
So if I'm looking at this, and you're not around, right? And I'm learning. Say, okay, well, if I use the RSI and that Bollinger indicator, that's one way to go. But then use the 200 would kind of be safe as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can use it all in conjunction together, but that's why I'm trying to teach it to you little by little, But when the market is in the 20 and the 200, you can use it on any time, but the more information you have, the better. Like here, you knew you were in a range, right? Mm-hmm. And with the range, your safest bet is going to be playing it like a range, buying the bottoms and selling the tops, and using the RSI for your areas where you're going to be looking to go long at the bottom. I mean, even here was your entry to go long, right? Here was your entry to go short, right? Here was your entry to go short. So it's best to use it like that, because you don't want to play the middle of that range. You want to black out the middle of the range and just get rid of it, because you're not trading there. But now that you have the relative strength, now you're knowing where to buy the bottoms of those ranges and where you're going to be looking to sell the tops of them, right? And you can always sell when both are by themselves, right? When they're both overextended. That's one of my favorite scalps right there, I love when we get that big pop, especially in overnight hours. Like, I can't express how the overnight hours are so much easier to trade than when we get to our time. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll have to do it 3 a.m. We'll have to do it 3 a.m.,
Well, as soon as the boot camp's done, I'll be live from 3 a.m. till 10:30. 10:30, I mean, if you have a direction on the market, like let's go back here to yesterday, all right? Like 10:30, this is yesterday from 10, here is about 10:30 right here, right? If you have a direction, all right, like I said, the algorithms take over like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and they'll just slowly grind. So if, the market's grinding higher, just, go with the trend, But then once we get, back in here, I mean, we ranged at the top of that until about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then it sold off, and then it recovered again. Like when you see big bullish moves like this in the beginning of a day, you can pretty much guarantee that the end of the day is going to continue the same. All right, because when you get the bulls in a solid direction, all those traders come back at 3 o'clock. That's called power hour. So anytime you see that in the morning, you can pretty much expect it in the afternoon. So, those things you want to keep on the back of your mind also. But if you just get chopped between 10:30 and 11, where the market just going up and down, well, then that's what it's going to do pretty much, until the machines finally kick in. But rarely will you get like moves like this, between 10:30 or 11, between 11 and 2:30, 11 and 1:30. Typically you're going to get that slow grind algorithmic trading, right? Either slow grind up or slowly grind down, or just kind of chop and down. But you're not going to see any major moves like that. Every now and then you will, but let's even go back another day. Here's from 11:30 to 12, So this day here, it kind of did trend. They sold it off, but then notice how long it took to get from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. That hour, it looks like it just chopped around the whole hour there, right into 2. So I don't know. But, I mean, between those time frames, I personally won't trade. I never like trading between that. I know there's not many traders trading, which is why I like to be done by 9:30, 10 o'clock, the latest. Sometimes, between 10 and 11. Like, once you get closer to Christmas, when the northern hemisphere, is done on the boats and the beaches and they're buried in snow, you could trade comfortably till 11:30ish.
All right. So what's happening right now? First of all, Crip is here, and
Morning, morning.
and Monoblock is here as well. So good morning. So we have these areas that are blocked out. So if I wanted to practice today, let's say right now I would, no, actually I wouldn't put a call in to buy. I mean, I wouldn't put a buy order in.
No, we missed
Well, actually I could. So if I put a buy order in right now, I'm supposed to just let it sit through that black area or just go according to what the average true range is?
Well, you always want to take your profit on the average true range. Like I said, right now I'm just teaching you to identify these areas, right? The time to get in would have been on this double bottom. All right, that would have been the time to buy was right here on this candle. All right, and that would have brought you right here. You would have already seen the price was here, and this was not coming down anywhere near that, so you would have bought it. But the problem right now is that we broke trend. You know what I'm saying? So if you bought this, definitely 100% stick with the average true range, which is $12, because, for 2 reasons. One, you got a downward 200 or 20. The overall trend is now down, and you broke the uptrend. All right, so I wouldn't be looking to buy this and hold it very long, because the odds of it going back into that trend are very small right now. Right, so when we get right here, right, we'll go ahead and we'll take a short position. I'll put an order in here to sell it, and we can't see what's going on here. But, well, now we can see. Look at your white. It's starting to peak back below. Right? Which is indicating that it's getting weaker. So I want to get it, right there by the 20. And if we don't get filled, we don't get filled.
Order filled.
There we go. And my take profit on this right now is $7.50. And it's 12. So that's half of the true range. So that's perfect. So we'll see if we get that pullback. And if price comes up, I mean, this would be the area that it's going to want to come to first. Then we'll have this area right here second. So I'm going to go ahead and just move my stop loss right above that just to get it out of the way, because they love to do that. They'll do that liquidity grab real quick before they run it the opposite direction. If it does, but the other thing you want to look at right here is it's a W pattern. So we should be looking for that measured move on it. But again, I wouldn't be expecting that because we just broke the channel. Right? So if we got that measured move, we would be looking to come almost right to my stop. If we did get that measured move on that W pattern. So this is kind of a tricky area to be in right now. Because one, we broke that pattern. But then we got, at the same token, we got the W pattern. So it's kind of like, what do you want to do, right?
So a key to a trade like this for someone that's new is, unless you know that it's a good setup, don't take it.
Right. Well, even on this setup, you could have took it because you would have gotten your average true range. All right, it's 12, and I'm teaching you guys to shoot for half of that, but you would have been getting in right here at the bottom of the W, or the double bottom, and you would have been, your profit would have been right here. So you would have had plenty of room to be right. You know what I mean? But just get used to taking them when you see them. Just make sure that you come right up here and you just set your dollar value and then put in the average true range is $12. So do half of that and then hit save. So when you take your order, it's automatically going to do it for you. So you just buy it right here. You could either buy it like that with the limit order, or you could just come here and hit join bid.
Are you
by
You're
market.
recording?
Yeah, it's recording today.
Okay.
So yeah, this would be the measured move on that. If it does come back in there. But again, it's just, this is a really tough spot to take this. I mean, you could take the trade easily as long as you stick to that. Stick to your average true range. Just like I said, don't be greedy. You know what I mean? Because you always want to make sure that hey, we broke trend, right? So we'd be ideally looking for that 1-2 reversal, right? So I'd be more interested in shorting that area, but I would have definitely went long on the divergence and especially a double bottom, right? And we're not looking to make a fortune off of that, right? We're just looking to capture that quick little pop, right? Because the odds of this coming back in here and going up, I don't know. We do have this gap to fill above us. But like I said, with Bitcoin being down to, it lost $4,000 in value in the last 36 hours. So typically the market's going to follow that. That's what I'm saying. Today's just going to be a really tough day to play. But let's go back and look at yesterday, because I didn't see anywhere to really trade after we were done. That last trade from yesterday, I think this was the opening bell. Yeah, this was really your last signal to the upside right here. Right? And then you would have got out when you got divergence. You could have got out right here. Right? You could have got out there, but then you wouldn't have been able to get back in. But that's how you would play it safe, right? That's how you would play it safe. If you're... How do I say this? I don't want you... I'm trying to teach you each thing individually so you can use all the tools you have together, all right? So all I want you to do now is focus on this, all right? Because in theory, if you learned the 20 and the 200, if we didn't have this blacked out, right, and you know how to use the RSI correctly, the full value of it, which we're not there yet, then this would have been a perfect entry off the 20, and this was right at the 50% mark. If I undelete this, I guarantee you $1 million, this price pulled right back to the 50% mark, right? So you have confirmation here, and confirmation here. 3 areas to confirm. You could add back to your position to the long side. And then you would get out, right? You see this divergence, and you just get out. Play it safe, right? So where was that divergence? Right here on this bar. That's another excellent profit, right? Are you trying to pick the exact top and the exact bottom? That's how you'll end up losing money. Just follow what I'm teaching you and take your profits where profits are due, right? That was a big move. 110 all the way up to 190, $180 in one contract with that move, just off of the 50% mark and the 2200, right? So win-win. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to keep teaching everything the way that I'm doing it or talking about it, because I want you guys to learn each section individually, because once you have all the pieces of the puzzle, it's going to be so much easier for you to make money consistently and make big money, because you're going to know, all right, now I know to focus down here. Okay, I see this is happening. Okay, now look at the rising 20. Everything lines up. Boom, I'm in. Where do I get out? When we see divergence, right? Everything will eventually add up. But that's why I'm trying to go slow and teach you piece by piece, so you can try and master each piece, or at least understand it. And while we're talking about it, we spend 2 or 3 weeks on the range alone. All right? So here in this range overnight, I don't see why any of you couldn't have made a fortune just trading that range. All right? You had divergence at the top of the range. You had divergence. 1, 2, 3 pieces of information. Okay? Right here, again, you could have played this to the downside, because I told you already, if it's all the way at the bottom or all the way at the top, you can play it. But then you had divergence, right? You had divergence. You could have went in with a pretty decent sized position in that area. It's just, once you can get all the pieces of the puzzle together and learn how to use them correctly, it's, you're just going to look at stuff and it's going to be that much simpler for you to trade.
The way you're teaching, for me personally, it's like developing a new memory muscle. So it's extremely effective, and it creates discipline, and you can actually see it or feel it. You're not jumping into trades. You're seeing the trends. You're seeing the channels. You're seeing using the divergence in the RSI and the Bollinger indicator there. With this blacked out, it literally is creating a new habit. So it's working.
And that was my goal, is that, to try and block out the noise so all you can see is the bottom half and the top half. You know what I'm saying? Because I only want you focusing on divergence right now, either from the downside or from the upside, right? To confirm
Order
your
filled.
trades. So now we finally got that filled on that short. But like I said, that W pattern, the double bottom, right? I always tell you guys, price will like to test an area twice. This here time it tested it twice there. I mean, if we go back to the left here, let's see if this was a double area. So look at this. I mean, this is a perfect line. Like I always say, price will like to come down and retest. So if we draw the line from right here, it came down and retested. This was just on a much smaller time scale, right? But that's what I was saying. I would be much more convinced of going short here because we broke the overall trend. All right, you have to always expect the unexpected, where the market makers are gonna, come, do what it shouldn't do, right? Especially in volatile times. Excuse me. Like the whole entire school system down here is sick now. My kids are all sick. Hurricane's coming again. It's like right on our doorstep here today and tomorrow. So anyhow, yeah, but now you weren't able to physically see with your own eyes, if this diverged. Because sometimes you'll get where this won't really give you divergence, but this will. All right, and as long as you're in an area, go ahead and take it, right? Where you're right here on the trend line, this one semi-converged, diversed, right? But then it broke, but this one never did, and it stayed true. So that would have been your excellent entry, all right? And at that point in time, we were doing the channel perfectly. So if you got in on this one, you would have had no other reason why you couldn't have held it until you got the divergence right here. So that would have been like another $150 play with one contract. All right, so just little by little, like again, I want you guys to have down pat the range strategy, right? The relative strength with the range strategy is going to confirm all your entries and exits in it. Don't ever get scared out of a trade if it happens to pop out of the range, right? Let's just go look at the range real quick. The average true range, that's why I have it shrunk down here, because I don't really need to see it now. It tells us what it is right here. As it tells us in real time what the average true range is at all times. All right, so I really don't need to see it anymore because I have this number right here to tell me. All right, so it's a little hard to see right where it is right now, but I still know what it is. So the average true range is $13 per bar over the last 15 or 25 bars or something like that. It's calculating it. Let me go in and look at it, how many bars it's looking at over the last 14 bars. So the average bar is $13, so you'd be looking to capture half of that if you want to win almost every trade you take, right? Don't get greedy, but you also want to use the knowledge you have, right? We didn't get that full measured move from the W pattern, right? And if we did, it would have brought us like right into this area. But the reason why is most likely because all that was breaking through there was just like a little liquidity grab for them to rope in some more bulls, right? Just to dump it on them again. But since we had our trend line, we're expecting that 1-2 reversal pattern back down. So again, making the decisions to buy right? When you have these forming, you shouldn't have any questions, right? This should take all the questions you have out of the compound, right? I mean, if you know you're coming up to a channel, if you know you're coming up to a channel, if the indicators are lining up, right, in a specific real estate location, right, in a specific location, take the trade and don't worry about it. Don't wait for it to turn around and start going. Get in, right? And if the market makers play this kind of game in that particular trade, don't be scared, right? The odds are in your favor, right? We had too much information on our side. So, you just can't be scared and get shaken out of a trade because you'll see something like this, right? Okay? And I don't want to give you the wrong habits or the wrong intentions, right? But right now, I just really want you guys to focus on taking trades just based on divergence alone, all right? With divergence, and make sure you're in the right real estate locations, all right? When this divergence is forming, are you in a good area? Are you in a good location? Right? Here's perfect things. They popped out of that trend channel several times, and I didn't move this trend, but I probably should have moved it up. Not probably, I should have. I just wasn't really paying attention to anything this morning. I didn't set that up. So there's really not even a trend there. This trend is from here. I always let my lines run through. And it didn't respect it yet there, but it did over here. But again, it wouldn't because we were in a range overnight, right? And if you draw this range correctly, I just drew it wrong. But you would have to make the range from here right down to here because that's where it started. And then you got your breakout beautifully, right? Beautiful breakout. You would have had a first price target here, which it came right to and respected because of this. This would have been your second. And then right after that, you had divergence. So you could play these as much as you want in every direction. And it doesn't matter what the market's doing as long as you know how to utilize the tools you have in front of you. That's why we have so few, right? Because the ones I'm teaching you and the tools I'm giving you are the only tools you'll ever need. You're not going to need to add another thing to your charts ever. Nothing is going to give you the accuracy of what I'm teaching you. Nothing out there will. Nothing. I guarantee you that. If you could find something, bring it to me and I'll pay you. Because trust me, there's nothing out there that's going to come close to giving you the results that these very few basic tools will. But you just have to get to know how to use them correctly. And that's what I'm trying to teach you guys, right? Just for now, focus on divergence. That's it. Just focus on divergence. On one of them, it'll be much easier to see than it will on the other one, right? It'll be much easier. But these tops here, if we came back from that range, this would be the bottom of the range to the left of us that we just looked at. So basically, that range now became resistance, all right? So price did what? It tried once, and it tried twice, just like we always talk about, right? Okay? Here it tried once, and it tried twice, right? So now we got this range, but again, like I always tell you, and I can't stress it enough, time is very important. Where are we in relation to the open? The closer we get to the open, the more people that are going to come in, all right? So right now, we can't really see anything behind these two. Good morning, Brother Mike. So, I mean, right now, the only thing we have to look at, really, is a triple bottom. All right? That's it. But the markets, I'm telling you, I just don't know what to expect. Typically, I could, call each day, but today is just one of those days with what we have on deck tomorrow. And then Bitcoin losing that kind of money overnight, I would like to say we're just going to see, a big move down today, but where's that going to put us in relation for tomorrow, right? Are they expecting it to be better than expected, and they're going to rip it back up and then sell it off? But, I mean, any way you look at it, the market should be a lot lower than it is, and it's not. So, that's the one thing I was been thinking about this whole time, and now we got this triple bottoms over here on the higher time frame, and let's look at that on the 30-minute. All right, this is indicative of a reversal, right? That it's kind of like a gravestone doji, and if that gravestone doji is in an area like this, typically you're going to get a reversal back to the upside. And it's contradictory to what you've been taught, but that's how they work on the higher time frames. I don't know if you guys have been taught that's indicative of a down move, but it's not. And just like, let's see if we can find one on the top side, the opposite of it. No, you kind of got that doji right there, but when those form on the top, it's usually indicative of a downward move also. So let me see if I can just find one on here anywhere on the higher time frame. Ah! No, I'm not seeing none. I don't want to go on for weeks on it. But yeah, when you see those developing, typically you'll get that reversal to the upside. Don't ask me why, I don't know, but that's just what I've noticed over the years. When they form like that pattern, most people would think that that's a bearish sign, right? But typically that is indicative of a reversal. When you get that, I don't know what it's even called, the morning star, evening star, I don't even know. I never paid attention much to the candle patterns like that. I mean the names of them, but I can tell you the pattern as soon as I see it. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. And I'm going to get the names of all of them for you guys. I'm the same way with like birthdays and people's names. You can tell me your name 100 times and I'll never remember it. That's the way I am. I don't know why. I don't even know my exact kids' birthdays, their dates. As they get closer, I'll remember, but I don't know why. And things like that just never stuck in my brain. But don't know. We shall see. But does anybody got any questions so far? Did anybody trade any of this yet today? Just off of the divergence?
I did. I was up. I took a 750 profit. Half of the average true range, and then I took another trade and I lost it.
Where'd you lose that?
One second. I think it was. So I lost $16.50 at 8.56. I bought in at 11.24. And I got out at 11:15.
Oh, you talking about yesterday?
No.
It's only 9 o'clock in the morning.
Wait a minute. Did I say 11? No, that was the price, not the time. 8:54. At 8:54 in the morning. So the first trade was at I had a $10.50 profit. And that was at 8:52, and that was nice.
You traded this bar?
Excuse me?
You traded this bar right here?
Yeah. And I sold it on the green bar, the next bar.
And you lost money on it?
No, I made $16.50.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. So, now what I'm even seeing is a bigger W pattern forming. Right? There's just too many weird things happening, right? We got this candle. We got a flat bottom. It's just, I don't know. I would just personally
stay away.
Yeah, I mean, with what's coming up tomorrow and with Bitcoin, I'm telling you guys, I've never said this before, but I'm stumped today. I have absolutely no idea what they're going to do, right? And I've never said that before ever since you guys have known me. We got the gap to fill above us, but today is just one of those days where I'm like, yeah, I have no idea. I mean, the only thing you could do, right? Even though when I do have an idea, I'm still trading the same way I'm teaching you. I'm still using and utilizing and looking at the same exact things I'm teaching you. But typically I could tell you guys like, hey, oh, perfect computer, what are you doing now? Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is, but I know it's getting windy out there. It's actually really windy. And
But if I had stayed to that principle of not trading between 8:30 and 9:30, that would have been smart.
well, you don't have to not trade. That's just the opening. All we're doing between 8:30 and 9:30 is trying to decide if we're going to be on the right side of the market or not, right?
Okay.
And that's all that we're doing there. That doesn't mean you can't trade it. I mean, even here right now, we're building that divergence. Let me get rid of that. But we're definitely building divergence, right? And we got that triple bottom, 1, 2, 3. But the thing that I'm not liking about this area is because we're hangman, right? I mean, this is not a high probability setup any way you look at it. If anything, treat it like a range. But there's nothing high probability about this. I mean, yeah, you're getting divergence here, but we broke the channel, right? And we tested it 3 times. I mean, that's not common. What is going on with my computer? The other day we were live, I had no idea, but they're still around here messing with the electric, but they replaced the power pole behind my house. The other day I went outside, there were like 10 trucks. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, oh, we had to put a new pole in. I'm like, I wish I would have known about that. I have all my electronics on, He's like, we didn't shut the power off. We just had the trucks hold it. I was like, ay, ay, ay.
So you said in the boot camp 8, make sure you. I put it on the wall. I forgot what I wrote here. Oh, make sure you master day 6. You said it twice. Master day 6.
So what was day 6? That was the range, right?
I believe so.
Right, because I really want you guys to learn one whole strategy before you really jump on to the next. Right? Because if you've mastered the range by now, there was no reason you couldn't have made a boatload of money trading this morning. All right? If you made that range, you marked off your no trade zone, and you looked at your relative strength and your projection oscillator, there is absolutely no way you could not have left the table with money in your pocket today. I mean, and I don't want you capturing a boatload of money. Start small, but there's no way if you took 10 trades today, following the range strategy, you didn't win 10 times today, just trading that range. And that's what I'm saying. Master day 7, right? And if you haven't mastered it, just keep working on it, right? But slowly work on this, but stick with that section of the boot camp until you have it down 100%, because you're going to be able to use that, throughout your entire day. All right, so if you master that, all right, so now you got the range mastered, right? Then you can start focusing on trading the 20 and the 200, right? In conjunction with the RSI, but with the RSI right now, we have an area blocked out, right? So you can't really use the RSI to trade the 20 and the 200 for confirmation because we have that area blocked out, but there's a reason for that, right? I just want you guys focusing on that divergence right now, right? Just trading that divergence. That's it. Just get familiar with that, because once we take away this here in the middle, you're always going to see this before you see anything in the middle. I guarantee you that, right? Your eyes are going to be focused here, and then that middle part, right? Treating the middle is like, you really wouldn't want to trade anywhere in the middle, anywhere here anyway, right? Because it's choppiness, right? If you're looking in the middle here, you got this choppiness area. But what the middle part is good for, the 50% mark, is using in conjunction with your rising 20, buying at or near the 20, or selling at or near the 20, right? When price is coming let's just look over here on the higher time frame. All right, here's your 50% mark. All right, and this is a much higher time frame, but notice the 20 period moving average is falling, right? It's going down, and price came up to the 20, and this came up to the 50, and it's been trading below the 50%, which tells you the market's weak, first of all. So that's confirmation. Both areas, it came right up to the 50, right? And you're supposed to sell at or near the 20. So that was perfect indications, and this does the same thing, except we have it covered up right now. Because if we uncovered it, let me just move it. Let me see if I can move it. Why do I have two? Okay, so look at what I just said. You're buying at or near the 20, and this came right at the 50, right? Meaning that it's holding its strength, confirming your buy at or near the 20. But I don't want to confuse you guys and telling you too much information at once, because it's going to confuse you. If you focus on one strategy and one strategy only, you're going to learn them much better than you will if I try and teach you 500 things at once. All right, I don't know where that one went. I think it just disappeared. So does that make sense?
That would be yes.
But you see how you could use, once we remove these, we'll start talking about how to use that in conjunction with the 20, right? The 20 period moving average strategy. But right now, all I want to do is focus on this divergence, right? But right now, again, if we have this big, we had a small W here. Now we have a big W here. But it's just not, it's 913. The gap to fill above us is very small. All right? I just don't want to try and call anything today. And today's one of those days where just rely on what you already know. Right? Take your trades based on what you already know.
Usually on a W, doesn't it go up?
Yeah, and you want to do. All right, this is how you measure how far it's going to go. Okay, you take your high to your low, and then you bring it right there. So on that W pattern, in theory, it should come right to here. So I would be looking to close my position out here, right? Because it could go there, but it could do this, boom, and then trade sideways real slow for 30 minutes and then pull back and then go up. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm a conservative trader. I like to win every trade I take, and I'm not greedy because I could keep taking trade after trade after trade, and I can make a lot of money. All right? But most people, they think they have to trade every single bar, and instead of taking profits where they should, all right, instead of taking profits where they know, this is the market telling you, hey, if you're going to take a trade, this is the profit you should be looking for, a $12 move. But people don't do that. They'll do this number here, right? They'll say, okay, we're going to buy here, and I want my profit all the way up here, and my stop loss right here. Is that realistic? I mean, come on. But that's how people think. Now, is it realistic for me? Can we do that? Absolutely we can. When we're in that part of the program, right? You're starting to learn that now. You're starting to learn how to take bigger positions now, right? You can buy in here as long as you're looking at the bigger picture. Are we still channeling, right? Are we still channeling? If so, then you buy, and then you sell on divergence at the top. This particular trade would have been a $50 move, a $100 profit. Okay? And then, once we get further along, we will eventually talk about swing trading. But I would not swing trade in this market, period. You know what I'm saying? There's no point in swing trading in the market that we're in the conditions that we're in. But by the end of this 30-day boot camp, hopefully you guys will be able to analyze the market like I do. Right? I keep talking about it every day, and today I've never said it before, but I have no idea what they're going to do. right? I don't think you've ever heard me say that before. Right? Usually we can talk about what the market's going to do. We can use what we have to the left of us. You know, if I do that today, what we have to the left of us, this is what I'm saying is we broke the channel, we broke the trend, right? We broke it here. We're almost breaking it here. But again, notice how I said on this candle, that's a reversal candle to the upside. So nothing's clicking right now. You know what I mean? Like the birds in my head are just chirp, 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 chirp. But it's because we have that news tomorrow, right? Bitcoin lost so much value in the last 36 hours. So I'm just like, you know, my mind wants to tell me we're going down. But until that news comes out tomorrow, you know, I'm not even going to try and speculate on what the market will or will not do today. You know, typically before the news like that, the market's just going to chop around and go sideways all day today and into tomorrow. But I think we might see a sell-off today. So that's what I would expect more than anything, would be to see that sell-off, to be in sync with what happened with Bitcoin, right? So is this the prequel to, you know, we'll come back up here and then we'll just sell off hard today? Could be, right? But then we get that news tomorrow and then they rip it back up just to sell it off again? Absolutely. I mean, that's the way that they play this game. But if we use the tools that we have, we can make money. It doesn't matter what we think, right? We're not supposed to trade by what we think anyway. That's the whole point of teaching you guys how to trade. But when we're in specific areas like this, you know, don't even try and trade, right? I mean, right now we're just stuck, so I wouldn't really trust anything.
Right, it's in a no zone. I mean, it's in a no-go.
Yeah, because, you know, and the reason I'm saying that is because we broke this channel and it's, you know, it's down, up, down, up, down, up. You know what I mean?
Just consolidate.
Yeah, it's just kind of doing its own thing. But like I said, this candle right here, you know, that's usually indicative of a reversal to the upside. You know, contrary to what you might think that, you know, no, that's not. If you do enough research on it, you'll find more information supporting what I'm saying, that when you see this candle at the bottom, it's indicative of a reversal. And when you see the opposite at the top, right, if you saw this at the top of a range, that's typically a sign that the market's going to go down. And it's contrary to what you might think, like, you know, this is a bearish candle. I know it is, but that's just the way that I've always seen it happen, right? But I don't really pay too much attention to the candles, right? I follow price action, and price action pretty much alone. You know, but when
One quick question. Average true range is the same as FVG, fair value gap.
No, the average true range is just telling you the average price of each candle over the last 14 candles. So each candle has moved an average of $12 over the last 14 bars. That's all that's telling you. So notice when the bell rings, that'll change to like $20 or $30. The average true range will be. So if we went to a higher time frame, you know, obviously that'll change. If we go to the 5-minute, the average candle on a 5-minute is $18. Okay. Right? Because you're compressing the candles into one another. So it's just going based solely on the average price of each candle. How much did each candle move up or down? So the average candle moves up and down about $11 each candle. So that's why I say when you're taking your trades, as you're learning this strategy, right? If you're in a good area, okay, in this area you don't want to do nothing but the average true range, and you want to do half of it only. Don't be greedy, right? But if you're in an area back here where, you know, you came out of a range, right? But you're still within that overall bigger channel, which we broke now. This actually, I believe this is what broke it right here, coming out of that range. We're just on a smaller time frame. But anyhow, then you could shoot for the bigger amount of money. But until we get a clear direction or pattern right now, the only thing you should be looking to do is trade that average true range for quick in and out profits. Because we don't have anything going on. I mean, it's just a nasty little mess right here. Right? Because we should have done the 1-2 reversal, but we're not yet. And until we get a definitive direction, it's just better to be safe than sorry. Right? I mean, even back here, we're not talking about the measured moves, but you have one leg and two legs. Here you got one leg and two legs. But typically the market likes to move in 2s or 3s. And I always say it, sometimes 4 and 5. But for the most part, you're always going to get one leg or two legs. And more often than not, 1, 2, 3. All right, so typically in the morning hours, you'll get 1 or 2. I mean, 2 or 3, and the closer you get to 9:30, you'll be looking for 3 or 4 legs. But they're all measured moves, right? Very rarely are they not measured moves. And do you know what I mean by that?
Okay.
What the measured move is you're drawing a line, and the first leg is always identical to the second leg. And that's a whole nother strategy, right? It's part of the channel strategy, but we're just not there yet, right? I can talk about it, but I don't want to teach you about it because I don't want to give you too much information to confuse you. All right, here's your first leg. Now let's move that down. They're always identical. Yeah, I mean, you can't make it up. You can't make this stuff up that I'm teaching you. It's just the way the market is, right? And that's how you can predict where a market will go and how much it'll move. Now, are they always going to be identical 100% of the time? No. But, 95% of the time, legs are always identical, right? Can they fake you out like they do here? Sure they can, and they will. But, legs and counting legs can help you determine location, right? When you're looking for that turnaround, right? You could use the legs. Did we make the measured move? Did we get one leg, two leg? Market likes to move in 2s or 3s. The earlier the time frame, the likelihood of moving in 2s is much more appropriate rather than 3s. All right, now even going back to the upside, okay? If we go from here to here, there's your first leg. Almost identical, right? I'm not changing the length of the line. I already drew it once. We're just moving it. All right, so you got your measured moves. That's why I'm always drawing these patterns, right? I'm always drawing these patterns with you guys. Always drawing the measured moves. We're not there in boot camp yet, so don't want to focus too much on it. But yes, you can capture larger moves, but you're not looking for larger moves in an area like this until we get direction. We have our zones marked below us. I don't even know if mine are right anymore. That's what I'm saying, because I don't really use these when I'm personally trading because I don't need them. And that's what I'm saying with you guys. The more you do this, the longer you do this, all you got to do is look left. You got your higher time frames right here. Just look left, right? You got your cursor. Look at the price. That's the price you're expecting to turn around, right? You don't need 5 million lines on your chart, but for training, right, I want you guys to have as many as you need. All right, always look left and draw that line. If you don't like the big lines, just look left and draw a white horizontal line, right? Bring it over. It's much smaller, keeps your chart cleaner, right? And there's nothing wrong with, if you need to use them for a very long time, then keep them. Don't get rid of them until you're ready to get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get a medal for not having any lines on your chart. You know what I mean? You'll get a medal for having the lines and making money using them. You know what I'm saying? It's not like there is no time frame for somebody to become consistently profitable. So don't try and shoot for the stars, right? I mean, you're not looking for that. Who's going to be first, or when am I going to start finally making money? If you don't listen to what I'm telling you, you're never going to get to the point where you're going to make money. Let me put it that way, all right? That's why I'm trying to teach this to you guys very slowly. And if I tell you in the morning, only trade divergence, guess what you should do for the rest of the day? Only trade divergence. All right? If you saw this range this morning, that should have been the only thing you traded. If you traded this range at any point this morning, even if you woke up at 2 or 3 o'clock, you would have had the range, or, if you came out here this morning, okay, typically I'm up 2, 3 in the morning, I could have opened my chart up and just went boom, drew that range, started trading it, right? We're clearly in a range. I could have bought our first area right here, right? We could have sold this dip, and then I could have closed my position out right here. All right, so that's 70. That's almost $100 move. $200 one trade. I could be done for the day, right? If I wanted to, I could be done. Now we broke, right? And then we're kind of using this area as resistance, right? Do we have any confirmation down here to take the trade? We really don't. I mean, we could have scalped this pop, right? We could have scalped this pop, right? But did we get divergence? We didn't. That you can see, right? And the reason I'm doing that is because I want you to focus on high probability trades, okay? By blocking out a big divergence area like this, you can kind of see it, to take this trade. Notice all the congestion. The closer you get to that 50% mark, the more congestion you're going to have in the market. All right? This is why I'm like I said before with the range, I want to give you the best shot at becoming consistently profitable by teaching you the easiest and the safest way you can to make money. All right? So just learn to be comfortable with making small amounts of money and winning on all the trades you take. Learning the setups. Don't even focus on the money. Just wait for the setups to come. All right? Wait for that setup and then just be patient, because I'm telling you now, patience is what's going to pay your bills, right? When you get this and you sit here and you want to trade for 6 or 7 hours, you might only see 2 or 3 trades, but those 2 or 3 trades will make you between $100 and $500 on each trade. Okay, so 3 trades, $1,500 is a great day for working 6 or 7 hours. But what most people do is they come to the market and they can't control themselves, and they're like, oh, this is going to go up right here. Do you have any information? Nope, don't need it, don't care. I'm buying it.
Order filled.
And then it goes against them, and it just comes right back down, and then they're like, well, why didn't that work, right? And then they'll go ahead and they'll close it out.
Order filled.
Well, now it's going down. Well, now I'll
Order filled.
and then it goes back up, right? And that's the
Order
snowball
filled.
effect of why people lose money and they can't consistently become profitable, because they don't know how to be patient and wait for trades. They feel like they have to get in or they're going to miss it. You guys see, how many times have you seen me do this right here? I'll sell one and I'll say, if it doesn't come, it wasn't ready, right? We just wait for the next trade. Do you ever see me going chasing it down? No, I don't. And there's a reason for that. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, you're either gonna listen to what I'm telling you, or you're not gonna make it. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to give you the honest truth, right? I'm trying to tell you right off the get-go, listen to what I'm telling you and follow the steps I'm telling you, because I'm preparing you to make a lot of money. But you're never going to make that money if you just wander and chase every single bar. That's not how professional traders trade. That's how we all lost our money in the beginning, was doing exactly what, the human body and emotional side wants you to do. You have to contain that beast. You have to contain those emotions, because that's what's going to blow up your account. Waiting for the right setup, right? Chasing this down, you're never going to make it in this game. You have to wait for the charts and price action to tell you, hey, I'm ready, right? I'm ready, buy me. Or I'm ready, sell me. But if you can't control that, then you're never going to be able to control yourself. So that's why, like today, I said for the next 2 weeks, I just want you guys focusing on your divergences, right? And make sure they align with real estate locations, right? Look at your bigger picture, okay? Look at your bigger picture. Oh, even over here, right? I have these trend lines for the wedge, I could bring this one down a little more now. But like I said, we clearly broke, so, we should be going down, but I didn't know in this specific area. With Bitcoin going down and, that would be my guess, but who knows what's going to happen today. I mean, all we could do is what we see. So here, all right now, can we scalp this? Let's just look left. Let's go look left on the higher time frame, I guess. I'm not seeing anything to our immediate left. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of almost in that area. But, this would be the higher probability scalp to the upside. But now that we broke to the downside, we should be looking for downward momentum. So I would feel much more comfortable putting in a sell order here, right? That halfway mark, let it come back up to sell, right? And instead of trying to scalp to the upside off of a bounce, let's try and catch that ride back down, all right? And our profit potential could come right back down into this area. But we almost got filled, but am I going to sell it here? No. I mean, it's overextended right now, and it doesn't like to just sell right off one after another. It likes to get those pullbacks. But am I going to chase it? Absolutely not. Right? I mean, it's the first 2-minute bar. You got all day to trade. But now I will join the bid back to the upside. Let's see if we can get filled. Because now we're really overextended on both. And I should have just bought the market. But since I did not, let's wait and see if we can get filled. If it'll come back down and push it down. But we might not. Alright, so I got an order to sell, an order to buy. And that, we would have got filled right there, right? That would have been a good, quick little scalp. But I would have scalped that based on this zone that we had marked off. But now the candle is getting kind of stale. Depending on where we close, I may adjust both of these. I'm going to move this one up a little higher. Actually, I don't even know where my fill mark is for that. So this one we didn't get, so I'm going to cancel that. And this is just pure scalping, We'll try and put a sell order in there. I'm going to get up a little closer up here to see if we can get back in. And we might not, but we might, right? But I'm not going to chase it. I want the odds in my favor. So the closer we're selling to the 20-period moving average, the better chance we'll have of making it, right? But we don't have any indication whatsoever right now to go long, right? And especially with the opening bar being to the downside and with the downward momentum, and we broke this channel, I'd be much more comfortable scalping to the short side than I would to the long side, all right? So even though we don't have anything to tell us to trade right now, we can scalp in the direction of the trend. All right? Just don't go crazy looking for, a $500 profit. Your average true range is $15. So $8-9 you can, look to scalp. But I'm not going to go chasing it to sell down here. Right? I mean, that's how you lose money. If you want high probability scalp setups, again, I like scalping each individual bar because they always do the boing, right? And I don't like leaving just an open order here. But we're not making very big movements, and that's because of the news tomorrow. A lot of traders are going to wait and try and just be patient. So let's see if we can get this scalp here and see if we can get a 1-2 reversal. Are we going to get filled? I don't know. And is it just going to come right back up to the 20? It could. And then at that point, my stop loss, right, is really close to the 20. It's really far from my entry price, but that was based on this candle, not the new candles that are forming. Right, so technically I should be adjusting this, but I still think we're in a decent spot. I'll put it right up there.
Order filled.
So I put it right up here, right to the top of this. I actually wanted it right here at this level.
Order filled.
See? And that's how you scalp, right? don't get greedy, right? But we could still trade even though we have really no information other than, the bar was red, so we're gonna look to scalp to the downside, right? We have that in our side. We have the fact that we broke this channel, right? But we don't have anything really on the relative strength that we can see, right? So just scalp in the direction of the trend. Just don't be greedy, because especially at the opening bell, you've seen it every day. They'll bring it down, then they'll bring it right back into the range, then they'll bring it down. So anyhow, do you guys got any questions?
I mean, obviously the channel now is, the trend is down, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely broke it.
Right,
Definitely.
and the 5-minute chart, the 15-minute chart, and the 30-minute chart,
Yeah.
and the 1-hour chart, all are showing red candles.
Right. And we clearly, if you're looking at those higher time frames, it's hard. Let me show you on here, but I showed Russo this morning, but not you guys. If we go out to the hour, all right, notice this channel that we were up in, and this is, let me get everything off of here. All right, so this was the channel, right? We were in this channel since the 3rd, all right? And then today we finally broke it. So you guys see that? That's why it's important to pay attention to the big picture, which is why we have these time frames over here, and I have it marked, right? So we could clearly see we broke it today, right? And like I was telling Russo this morning, Bitcoin lost, was down to $17,000 in the last 38 hours, so 36 hours, something like that. So here, I don't know where my lines should be, but I'm just going to mark off what I can see, right? We broke the channel. We tested it. They did another test, and now back down here. All right, so now we're looking at this area right here. We're going to find a little bit of support here and bounce back up. We could, but I don't know. I'm telling you, the markets and Bitcoin, they like to do the same thing. And if Bitcoin lost that much, I don't see the markets doing anything spectacular today other than going down. Right? When Bitcoin makes a move like that, a lot of investors get scared and start selling, especially with the news coming out tomorrow. I mean, it could be a bloodbath, I mean, where the market is and where it should be are two totally different things. I mean, we should really be down around the $7,000-8,000 mark, but we're sitting at still $1,100. But anyhow, all right, guys, if you don't have any questions or anything, oh man, it removed my lines from here. Arrgh. That's all right. I'll be working on the boot camp today, but you kind of got the game plan, all right? This is going to be your resistance area now, right? The market likes to do the 1, 2 before it continues down. Look left, look on your higher time frames for your areas, but pay attention only to the divergence, right? We got divergence here, and the price is going back up, right? You could have profited on that move. I didn't see it, or I would have took it, but that's all I want you to do, guys. Focus on divergence, both the upside and the downside, and just familiarize yourself with that. But always look at the bigger picture, right? Don't get your screen so big that you're not seeing the big picture, okay? So just keep that in the back of your mind. And as far as measured moves go, all right, if we look at this leg, it already made a measured move, okay? 1, 2. So just play what you see, all right? Don't go short because, we all think it's going to go down. That's not how you trade, right? Just because we think it's going to go down doesn't mean it's going to. It could go up all day, all right? So just trade what you see, and that'll keep you safe. But anyhow, I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm wrapping up day 8 now, and I redid day 7. It's done. I'll transfer it over there now, and then I'm going to work on day 8. Well, put the finishing touches on it. It's almost done.
Okay, and I think, I mean, we do make mistakes when we're learning, and that's why we're in this simulation. This is the place to learn.
Right, and it's also the place I want you guys to start trading, but please, please, please only trade what I'm teaching you at the time. All right? If we get into a range, trade that range, right? If we get into a nice area where we're trending, trade the trend off the 20 and the 200. All right? If you get the divergence, trade the divergence. Start trading what I'm teaching you so you're getting used to it, right? Because practice is what's going to keep you in this game. Is practice makes perfect. You're going to make mistakes. Make all your mistakes now, but don't be. This is why I really want, like, if you guys are making mistakes, I want you to be able to either screenshot it just like this and send it to me, so then I can look at it and say, all right, well, you didn't listen to a word I told you, and you're trading just because you're trading, right? I'll never lie to you. I'll tell you the truth about your trading, because if you're doing that kind of stuff, it doesn't matter what I'm teaching you. You're not going to get rid of your bad habits, and you're going to continue to lose money because you're going to continue to gamble instead of using the tools that I'm, teaching you to use correctly. All right? So I want you guys to make it, but just practice what I'm teaching you each day. All right? If this turns into a range, trade the range and use your divergence in areas where you know you should trade. Right? You could set it up as a range now, because now we have 2 tries at the top, 1 on the bottom. So set it up in case it comes up, and then you get divergence here, right? Then you can trade it right back down. Ranges are great the morning of, and possibly the day before big news like tomorrow. Tomorrow, a range is guaranteed, right? We're guaranteed to range until that news comes out tomorrow. So, today it could be the same thing. But that would be the overall odds. But anyhow, guys, I want each and every one of you to make it, but I can't make you do what I'm telling you to do. So don't just trade it up because it's going up, right? If you were to get in earlier, this would have been your time. Now you don't have a reason. All right, we're coming out of that range that would be blocked off. But when I just deleted everything, it deleted it. So I got to redo mine. And again, you got the 20, right? You got the 20 that you could trade off of, right? This should now be a resistance zone to go down, but again, we don't know. So just trade what you know, right? Like, let's scalp that 20.
Order filled.
Downside, right? It's at the 20. Everything's pointing down. Take the trade.
Order filled.
There you go. And if it didn't work, it didn't work. But you're listening to what I'm telling you, right? Don't wait. If everything, if it looks good and you're following what I'm teaching you, then just take the trade, okay? The 20 is moving down. We would sell it at or near the 20, right? We did have these fake outs up here. Sure, can you get those? Absolutely. But learn to take the trade when you know you should take it, because that's going to build not only your confidence level, but you're going to be doing what I'm teaching you, which is the most important thing to do. All right? So just trade the way I'm teaching you guys, and that's all I could ask for. All right? If you're losing money that way, at least you're losing it according to rules, right? You're not randomly getting in a trade because you feel like getting in a trade, right? Like if this was, let's say you wanted to sell it right here. Well, why on earth would you sell it there, right? That's a stupid reason to sell just because you had 3 bars before it. Okay, there's no strategy to that. Well, why would you say you sold it? Because price was going down. Well, that's why you keep losing your money. You know what I mean? So, had you hesitated right here, it would have took you out, right? So, hesitation is a lot of the part of not making money, right? Because you'll hesitate and you'll wait too long. All right, so now what we're seeing here, right? Both of these are getting really extended to the upside. We're coming right up to the top of the range. right? If we're ranging, so I'll put an order to sell right at the top of that range, but we might miss it, right? We could have scalped that one candle right there and we would have got filled for a profit. All right? So, like I said, it's just going to kind of be a choppy, messy day. And then remember, we got this space between us up here. So if it does come up here, right, if it does break out of that range, which if it is a range, would you anticipate this breaking out to the upside if we started down here with big green bars leading up to it? Absolutely not. Right? The only chance it has right now would be to come to the volume weighted average price where it's going to get hammered back to the downside. Dang it, Bobby. So, like now, I'm not going to go chase that, right? But we can treat this like a range. I missed that initial pop-up, so I'm not going to continue to try and chase it to sell it. I'll just wait. Right? I'll now wait for my order, and then if we come up here at the volume-weighted average price, or if we come up here with divergence, then I'll short it again, and I'll put my take profit. I'll look for it in this area. Right? But I'm not going to chase that now. I missed the move. It's already happened. I wait for the next one. If you are patient and you wait, you're going to be able to get more trades in, more quality trades than you ever will chasing a stock. So you have to be patient. I mean, that's the name of the game. All right? I mean, again, we're getting in that area where we're getting an equilibrium on both sides, right? Nothing but wicks. So it's like, it's just one of those days, like I already said. I personally wouldn't be trading on a day like today, for several reasons. One, the Bitcoin thing. Two, the manipulation that's going to take place with what's coming up tomorrow. I mean, there's just, the information is garbage right now as far as trying to predict what the day would be. But, you can definitely trade your ranges. But just expect that extra manipulation, right? That extra, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? Right? So definitely don't go chasing anything. Wait for the opportunities to come to you. But that's all I'm asking you guys to do, all right? Trade divergence. Get used to spotting it, identifying it on the tops and the bottoms, and just trade that. Okay, but right now, it looks like we're in a range. So, as of now, I would say mark off your range, mark off your no trade zone, all right? And you're looking to trade with divergence. All right, this is the opening bell range. So, I mean, even as far as the divergence goes, and I don't know what you guys can see on your end, if you could see these or not, but if you can't, don't take the trade. All right? When you're trading on the outside of this range that I marked off, that's going to give you the highest probability trades and the highest probability setups. All right? Staying on the outside of the range that I told you to mark off. I'm going to mark mine off again. I'm just going to wait. If you cannot see this, then you don't trade. Don't worry about what the chart's doing. If you can't see this area, you don't trade. All right? Don't worry about what this does. Because if this comes back down, then you're clearly going to see it here. And then you just wait. Do you get divergence or you not? Or do we break it? So anyway, guys, I'm going to run. I got this thing recording. It's on like an hour and a half now. And
Thank
I will
you.
see you tomorrow. All right, guys. You're welcome.